Welcome, everybody, to a milestone episode, episode 25, with Mr. Johan from Asylum, Texas. Great band. We got a lot of fun things that we talk about. We talk about medical things, we talk about music, we talk about gear, of course, and all that fun stuff. So let's just hop right into the video. Enjoy. Welcome, everybody, again to the Mullins Over Music Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Austin Mullins, and I'm here with a special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself to you guys because, let's be honest, I like it when other people introduce themselves. It feels more personal. Plus, you get to put a name to a voice uh, for the audio version.
I like your choice of words there. Special is going to be the key word here. Hey, what's up? My name's Johan. I play in a extreme metal band called Asylum from Fort Worth, Texas, and we're just out here doing silly stuff, doing what we enjoy, playing extreme music and keeping it weird.
That's right. Hey, keeping it weird is the definition of Texas.
That's it.
I mean, didn't Austin adopt that, keep Austin weird or something like that?
They did. Yeah, it's like a different world down there, man. You know, killer music scene though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Um, Yeah, I want to get back down there. We usually do runs Austin, San Antonio, like Houston, maybe Beaumont,
Okay.
and if we want to zip on down that direction, the further toward Louisiana you get, the better the food is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But don't get me rambling about food. If
We
it's me
might
and
end up on
Cajun,
that
that's a
topic.
long. I'm all for it, man. If it's me and Cajun, that's a lengthy seminar. So
I love it.
yeah.
Well, we'll dive right into the first two questions. I always love doing this question. Um, Give me a fun fact about yourself, You prepared for this elementary school, middle school, high school. They always made you stand up, go, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah," and all that jazz. So, one fun
Mhm.
fact about yourself. I know you've got a good one.
I didn't prepare for this, to be honest. Um,
I didn't tell you about it too, to be fair.
that said, let's see. They pay me to put band-aids on people for a living and tear up people's houses sometimes.
That is true. Now, to be fair, if anybody heard that and didn't know what you did for a living, I think they would be a little concerned. But considering I know what you do for a living, you want to tell people what you do?
Let's keep them concerned. It's more interesting that way. In the dark, keep them guessing.
I
No, I
agree.
work for. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
I work for a fire department in Texas, and it's a killer job. And we get to help people and do cool stuff.
That's all right.
And you know, I don't know, man, it's awesome. You get stories out of it,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure.
you get to be outside, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, especially in that old Texas heat, right?
Oh yeah, and you can work kind of in the footsteps of people who are way braver than I was. Had way crazier experiences than I probably ever will. But it's cool to be able to say that I'm working in the same field as them. That's a great honor.
Of
So
course.
that's really cool.
That is.
And since such an enormous part of it is medical related, and that's always kind of been a fascination anyway,
Yeah.
that's kind of naturally trickled into the asylum material. The track tachycardia filled with medical related stuff. A number of songs from the last album, Sharpen, have medical themes like human body, anatomy, physiology, lifespan development, stuff like that. It's just super interesting to me because I'm a freaking nerd. I'll sit there and read a book on that shit on a Saturday night. But just that's what's cool, man. It's always going on because it's within you. You're carrying it around, and it's autonomous in many ways. And so that's cool.
That is cool.
It was only a matter of time till the profession and the creative kind of collided, you know.
Yeah, of course. Recommend
So,
me a book. I need a new medical book to read, so recommend me one.
um, Emergency Care for the Sick and Injured, 25th edition, uh, Bledsoe Cherry, 2025.
I'll
Um,
probably read that.
I don't think you want to read that. I'm kidding. I
I don't know. I think I would enjoy it. I've enjoyed weirder books.
don't know. It's more like I don't know. It's a course textbook, man. I think that's the one they give the first year EMT students.
Okay.
Regardless, I'll ramble about that too.
Hey, rambling is what we do here on this podcast.
Yup.
Okay, so we have our funny question because I always do a funny question because people like to laugh, you know. I always think it makes people think in a way that they wouldn't normally think. So
I'm all about that.
here's our question. If you were a superhero, what would your superhero name be?
Mm, Gravy Jones.
I love it. That's a great one.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm kind of cheating because that's actually the Asylum mascot name. It's just one of those things that's so stupid that we haven't even bothered to like put out there in the
Yeah.
sphere because the trash out there as it is. But yeah, that's I think that's Trey's Discord name, Gravy Jones. And let's see, and my superpower would be to um run 27 miles per hour. So just very slightly above impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Keep
very
it believable.
specific power, and I like it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Too many people are like super strength or super hearing or whatever. Um,
No.
you
Oh,
gotta give me something fun.
yeah. Second power would be to get discounts at Burger King anytime I go.
I love it.
And Whataburger, obviously.
Oh, of course. I had my first Whataburger back in February.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta admit, pretty good.
Oh, yeah, man. It's freaking awesome. There's a reason the drive-through takes 15 minutes, you know?
Oh yeah,
They make it from scratch.
and it
And
always
when you,
smells so good in there too.
yeah, nice and organically greasy.
Yep, exactly.
When you order the fat ass deluxe, like some of us do, it might take 20 minutes to get your food, but it's so worth it. You know it's being made with love.
And heart attack grease.
Oh, hell yeah. No, if I don't go out from some kind of extreme cardiac event, am I really living?
Uh, I was about to say the same thing. You got
Mm,
it, man. Okay. Well, let's break into our actual music questions. We'll
you know it, man. Oh, goodness. What else?
come
Yeah, man.
back to some random questions in a little bit because I think you've got some interesting answers for them. So, we obviously got to start with the big question. Take me back as far as you can to young you and when you first really got into music and you were like, I love it. And then take us a little more forward when you were like, this is something I want to do. And then take us even a little more forward to where we are now, Asylum.
Okay. All right. Uh, what's the thing Danny DeVito says in that one episode? Hold on, let me switch gears here. Let's fire up the spliff.
Yep.
Let me see here. So, man, I can recall being in single digit ages and hearing music that was obviously like a turn on. And I say that in a way that it's exciting, like it
Yep.
gets you going. Um, but my parents, uh, in the household I grew up in, like they didn't play a lot of music. I heard church music every weekend. But beyond that, in the car, not a lot of music was played. And when it was usually the same few things over and over, including like Earth, Wind, and Fire and 70s disco and stuff, which, man, I love it. There's a special place in my heart for it, but very limited window of musical input um, at that age, really. Lots of classical, huge part of where we are now.
Yeah.
But skipping forward from there, becoming a teenager and becoming naturally more rebellious. Sooner or later, I found bands like AC/DC, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, like, the outer stepping stones on the slippery slope down to fucking black metal and shit,
Yep.
sludge noise.
Oh yeah.
Um, so one day snuck out to Walmart and bought the Back in Black album on CD and was listening to it and started building a collection of music which at that time it just hit so hard, like this is fucking awesome, which they are awesome tracks. I don't listen to bands like that very much anymore, but I certainly have respect for the part they played in getting us to where we are today. So anyway, my parents were pretty traditional, and their upbringing didn't really allow for Guns N' Roses' greatest hits, for example, being, I guess, so casually thrown around the house and
Yeah.
played at volume. So one day I came home and found my modest CD collection was gone, and it had been removed from the spot, like the hiding spot in my room at that time, and eventually found it in another part of the house. The point of all this rambling is, I'm no child psychology expert, but just people 101 is the more you prohibit somebody from wanting to do something, the from doing something rather, the more they're going to want to do
Oh yeah.
it. So I was told repeatedly, you're not allowed to listen to this kind of music. Well, naturally, that pretty much just poured diesel on the fire, man. And I wanted to get way more into it at that point. Started digging into like Slipknot, for instance, and just the shit that was perfect for the angry kid in the back of the bus, which was me.
Yep.
And you're just looking for, I guess, I mean, people want to feel something when it comes to discovering bands and listening to music. It's a lot more than just a catchy video or just, something we throw on the internet. And they want to search you up to feel something. That's how we want to create a long-term impression of people. And so we want to make it to where years from now we're discoverable in formats where rebellious fuckers have to hide our CDs from their parents.
For sure, for sure.
Where, where was I going with that? Yeah, man. I think age like 11 started playing guitar
Okay.
and had one formal lesson ever, I think. Nope. That played with plenty of people, but only one where I would sit down and like paid the guy for his time
Yeah.
and spent the entire time trying to get him to teach me how to do pinch harmonics and like crazy whammy bar screams and stuff. And he was like, "Don't you want to learn like some fundamentals?" No, just I want to scream, you
Get out
know?
cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And something he said a couple weeks, I guess, a couple weeks later on, sparked the ability to produce that pinch harmonic sound, which is really cool if executed correctly and sparingly.
Yeah.
Not to deviate there, but back in the deathcore days, you'd have a little squeal every 3 seconds in some of these songs. And it's like there's less is more,
That's
my
right.
friend.
Used to be like, "Dun, dun, wee, dun, wee, dun, dun,
Yeah, like
dun."
constantly. It's just I'm all for it once in a while,
Oh yeah.
and but like anything else, modesty is key.
Oh yeah. You
Um,
know that band Extermination Dismemberment or something like that?
yeah, I know of them. I don't know their music.
So they do a pinch harmonic slide, which I thought was super sick. They take the
How
pinch
does that even
harmonic.
work? Interesting. I'll have to look that up later.
Yeah. Go to the Garza podcast. I'm plugging another podcast on my podcast, of course. But Chris Garza from Suicide Silence had them on the
Yeah,
podcast, and they show off the slide pinch harmonic, and I was like, that's so sick.
I'll check that out. You were asking about the timeline, right? I
Yeah.
guess skipping through the musical journey. Um, Way early on in the guitar learning days, back when Hastings was still a store. I went up to my local Hastings and bought a guitar chord, not even a tablature book, just a book with pictures of a guy's hand playing various guitar chords. And with no training or experience, all I could do is sit there and look at the pictures and try and copy them. And the thing I tell people aspiring to play this instrument is the first 2, 3 weeks are going to be the hardest part, arguably the entire journey, simply because that's when it's physically painful
Yeah.
and it's more uncomfortable than fun during that time period. Um, and that's a turn off for a lot of people, understandably. But if like many things worth pursuing, if you persevere, you can get wade through the shit and get where the getting's good.
That's right, man.
What the hell was I talking about?
Getting your guitar chord book.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. uh, just I, like I'm sure your experience was similar. Just as time went on, I started listening to more and more extreme stuff,
Yeah.
and by the time I got to college age, was getting into bands like Behemoth, and I had never even heard Tool for the first time until I was, I think, 17 or 18, until I got to college and somebody showed me, which that's my favorite band in the world, by
That's
the way. Tool's fucking sick. Lateralis, favorite album. Um, yeah, by the time I got to college, man, there was like a, how do you say it in English? man, there was a burning desire to play metal for real, like with people on a stage, like create it for myself,
Yeah.
my own creation, something that was tangible, I guess, from early on. I've always had this realization that I was just pondering mortality, man. I'll die eventually. It's inevitable. You will too.
Yeah, of course.
And all that will matter is what we accomplished while we were here. And I think leaving behind a kick-ass, awesome, badass extreme metal album is way more impactful than anything, and for me at least,
Yeah.
anything that I could say or write in text or whatever. Um, that's my best way to shine and be like, okay, here's an audio sample of the old brain. Here you go, future generations. And so, it's cool to make full art, whatever your talent is, whether it's music or painting or literature, whatever, something that people can have after you're gone,
Yeah.
you know. So that's for me personally, that's a big reason why I do this. So you can, I don't know, man, just making a story for the grandkids, you know.
Of course. Hey, that's how we got our stories today, from grandparents to grandparents to grandparents, all the way down.
It's that line. Um, I always enjoyed talking to the old timers. Um, what year was 2011, man? Craigslist was still around,
Yep.
and I was at TCU in Fort Worth, and it was my second year in college, and knew I think two or three people at that point who were into, I guess, metal as extreme as I was. And a couple guys became good friends with, went to Summer Slaughter a few times. I remember sitting with one of them, and like this is an acute memory of saying, dude, like we got to start a band and we got to call it Asylum. And he was just like, all right. And that guy, Trevor Swanson, he was our original bass player and original vocalist. He was trying to do both at the time. And his vocal style was so extreme and like shrieking and harsh that eventually he had to completely stop doing the vocal thing. I think he was told by a sports medicine physician, like, you're going to destroy your ability to talk if you keep doing this. It was raw, it was extreme, but not conducive to long-term speech.
Of course.
um, anyway, he was one of a couple guys who were in the room when the idea was conjured. Craigslist was around. I needed a drummer at the time, so I put a thing out looking for metal drummer, and somebody got back to me and pointed me toward. They gave me Colby's name. It's like, hey, hit up this guy Colby Rogers, and so I did. And we met up, and he played some drums, and he played drums at our first show ever, which was at Twisted Leaf Smoke Habit, whatever. There's a smoke shop that's in the stockyards that
Yeah.
I have no idea if it's still there, but it's on the street next to a smoke shop in April 2012, I think. Anyway, Colby was playing drums for that show, and I think either show two or three, it was decided mutually with him that he might be more suited for the frontman vocalist position. And he had expressed an interest in being a frontman for a band before, and he showed us his vocals, and they were sick. And that's kind of how that happened. Colby was originally our drummer, actually, and one day we were just kind of like, let's move you over here, buddy. And so that's that. Um, so yeah, there you go from when I first started noticing music all the way up to the early development of Asylum.
I love it, man. I always love hearing that stuff, especially from bands that I don't know that story of. Like, there's some bands I'm like, yeah, I know how they got started, but
Mm.
there are a lot that I'm just like, don't know how these bands got started. So hearing it is always such a delight. And I know a lot of people always want to hear about that stuff anyway. So
Sure, man. It's a big world, you know. Everybody has a story, and everybody wants to talk about themselves. And if you're the kind of person who's willing and able to listen, then you'll gain people's friendship.
exactly. Now we gotta ask for our next musical question. Are there any other instruments you play? Now, if not, that's cool, but I always gotta ask because I feel like musicians they secretly have some like weird instrument that they used to play or something.
Yeah, from sixth through 12th grade, I played trombone
Who
and
a
was pretty
trombone?
good. Um, Started off on bass clef, which complicated guitar because I never had formal training and never really put in the effort to learn treble clef, which is how guitar is notated. So that's fun. Trying to break through that crystallization of learning ability in my early 30s,
Yeah.
but slowly making it work. Um, yeah, played trombone for 6 years, man, and marched in high school marching band for 4 of those years. I was a freaking nerd, dude, big time. But it was cool. I was happy. I was
Yeah.
content in my nerd universe, and I maintained that early musical training still comes into play to this day. Some of the fundamentals
Oh yeah.
and some of the ways things were explained at such a young age that super thankful for the opportunity to have gotten to play music. Even though at my school, if you weren't on the football team, like you were fucking classified as a pleb.
Yeah. It
You
was
know,
actually
I
the
I,
other way
I
around.
didn't give two shits.
If you were in
You
the
know,
band, you were the pleb because our football team, I'm gonna be honest, sucked really bad.
really.
And nobody ever came for the actual football games. They always came for the marching band performance in the middle.
Well, hey, that's awesome. Got something worth coming to see.
Oh yeah. I played
And that
tuba.
tuba,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, yeah, man, that marching tuba is heavy.
Oh yeah, it is.
And it circles all around your body. It's just a weird shaped object.
And you just gotta hold it the entire time. Everybody else gets to, put their instrument down and walk around, get to hold it with both hands. I'm like,
Yep. Oh, you're holding that thing the whole time.
sometimes you get to
Unless you
switch
can put
shoulders.
yeah, or put the entire thing down.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, those were early encounters with what it's like to perform a show and have people come and watch your show.
Yeah.
And you know, it is nowhere near as sick as a death metal festival or something. I don't know, maybe to some people it is, but the principle's the same. You
Yeah.
want to polish it and make it as good as you possibly can in every aspect. Um, so yeah, did I
So
did I answer it?
yeah, you did.
Did I,
So
did I
in the
wander?
end, what you're saying, no, not at all. In the end, what you're saying is there's going to be a trombone solo on the next record.
Um, Trombone, most likely not, unless we do that radical 90-degree ska.
Yeah.
sound turn, which, you know, anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
But what's more likely to happen would be you might hear some cello, a
Uh,
little more authentic Baroque classical instrument sound.
yeah.
Because I do play cello very, very badly, but I can't. But I can squeak through some classical tunes on a cello, and it's nice to be. It's cool to be learning on, the original platform. The thing that came long before my six-string electric guitar.
Yep.
It's like being friends with your friend's great granddad or something. Hell
The analogy, man.
yeah.
Well, of course, we got to ask the next question. And this is always a fun question. What goes, or and not necessarily just the process, but what makes a asylum song, and how do you go about from like initial inception of the song to the recording to it finally coming out?
So it is a process. And let's just answer this question, but I love questions like this because it's what it's all about, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, Admittedly, I haven't talked to a lot of different people about what their song creation method is. Kind of selfish and have just tunnel visioned on my own methods,
Of course.
which work. They're giving us what we're all hearing on these final Asylum albums.
Yeah.
So it turns out well, but just our process, me and Trey will individually sit at home all the time and just riff on guitar anyway. Anytime we feel something sick coming on, or anytime we just want to record a whole session of, say, like I'm looking at a 25-minute snippet here of audio on the screen, we'll go through and identify whatever magic might have been caught and essentially compile a library of killer stuff,
That's what's up.
um, small bits, large passages, polished stuff, rough stuff. We've created the library. A weird fun fact about our process is more often than not, we'll come up with the song titles first.
That's what's up.
So the titles and the artwork actually will be some of the first things that come to be. And many, many times the song, the final product you hear is in a way written around the rubric of the predetermined song title.
I dig that.
Because for me, when I work creative stuff, if I can look at it in front of me and see it, I can apply it as inspiration. And so when you've got concrete direction, like I'm sitting here working on the next album for after the one that's coming out in a few months.
Yeah.
And most of these have titles already. And that's been really, really helpful for developing their personality. And which before that, before you can have personality, you got to have a body. And to hold the body, you have to have a skeleton. So that riff library gets, we extract the best stuff. It's like mining for diamonds, I guess you could say. And in our minds, we kind of have a rough idea of, okay, this might sound cool in this song if we've got something established in this new song, Thirst. This might sound cool in this new song called Thirst. Oh, this one might sound cool over here instead. Um, Pick and choose. Me and Trey both have the luxury of such active squirrel brains that there's never a lack of inspiration on on writing,
That's right, man.
whether it's little riffs or huge songs all at once. There's always something, and we've got shit. We got enough riff library material to produce 5 more albums at this point. It's just our own personal standards are so autistically sky high that you're only going to get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Yeah,
But
love that.
it's humble praise. We just want to deliver the best, and our personal style is to have it fairly polished, because I'm of the belief that's the style this type of highly technical and austere and tinge of sadness type of extreme metal. I think that's the way it ought to be presented.
Yeah,
And yeah, there you go.
I love it, dude. I love it. I always enjoy hearing what people's creative process for a song is because
Mhm.
I've heard things where it's like, yeah, I just go down and write whatever's written and that's it. Just go one, like do a few takes, pick the best take I like, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, that was from a drummer. But
Mhm.
sometimes they're like the drummers are the ones that tend to go, yeah, so I heard the song a couple times, I played through it a couple times, and that was it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, some people can do that. Um, for for asylum's purposes, we found it's just not possible to get these songs to the caliber they're at on the album. It's just not possible to do that sitting around all of us in a room and figuring it out bar by bar.
Yeah.
Um, there's meticulous attention paid all over the map of the song and in our audio software, like over the course of months, years, um, by all of us. We all get eyes on it and dissect it, and it's kind of like a surgery in a way over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But the to put it into a few words, the process is painfully meticulous in a fun way. It's because we're all just perfectionists.
Oh yeah. Well, that brings me into my next question. Because you guys write so many songs, I always ask an artist, what is your favorite song you've written? Your least favorite song you've written? Now, just because I say least favorite doesn't mean you don't have, you can still like it, but let's be honest, there's a top somewhere and there's a bottom somewhere for every artist, whether they think about it or not. And I'm always curious to hear like, yeah, I really like playing this, this song's my favorite because I get to have fun, and this one's not my favorite because yeah, I didn't like the way I did that or something.
Sure. Which one do you want to hear first?
Let's hear your favorite. We'll go up and then we'll go down, and then I got one more question that'll meet it in the middle.
Okay. I guess a good way to do it would be to have a favorite as something that's already available to listen to, so people have a frame of reference, right?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Right on. Well, the answer wouldn't change either way. I think favorite song would have to be Blasphemer, simply because this song's sick, man,
Dude,
and it's extensive, and everything just meshed together so well in the end, and it all works cohesively. And it doesn't sound flash cooked. It sounds very slow, simmered
oh
on the
yeah.
pot. So that song's sick, and it's a lot of fun to perform live. And to describe it just on the instrument, it's fun to play. Like it's an enjoyable exercise of song to perform,
That's right.
and I enjoy unintentionally being allegedly responsible for various cervical injuries in the audience.
So it's
And so that's that one. Probably my favorite song, Blasphemer.
I like it.
Song's sick. Um, Least favorite song is going to be funny because the other guys would throw me in the river for this one because I think for at least some of them, it would be their favorite song, at least on the first album. So I think probably in many respects, my least favorite song would be a song called Spectral Incantation
Okay, I can see
off of
that.
our first album called Psalms of Paralysis. The song is called Spectral Incantation, and it's not like it's a good song. It
Oh,
is
sure.
just it's a classic case of I would do this, this, and this differently. As musicians, we're all very self-critical. I am at least.
Oh yeah.
And we have this tendency to look retroactively in our own discography of music that we've made and it makes us cringe a little bit.
Yep.
And that's perfectly natural. And just when I hear that song, there's stuff that's so fast that if I could just slow it down, there could be so much more expression and notes wouldn't be cheated out of lengths. And it was just written at a time where I was younger and had less of a development to focus on, I guess, technique and execution. And at that time, I was more focused on just fucking shred, dude.
Yeah.
You know, melody, of course, was important to me at that time as well, and tempo and being slow sometimes intentionally. But for the most part, that album is fast as balls. And that song, that track in particular, like we played it live a lot. And in hindsight, there's just a lot of stuff I'd do differently to it. But you know, that's life.
Oh yeah, of course. And then to bring it back in the middle, what is the absolute hardest song to play that you guys have written?
Hmm. So probably if they were all standing behind me, I'd be willing to bet they'd be screaming the answer at me. The song Cerebellar Atrophy off of our last album, Sharpen. That's the only track on that album that's in 3/4 time, I believe. So it's a waltz feel,
Yeah.
and there's just so many notes. I don't dislike anything about the song. It's just freaking difficult, and I've yet to nut up and perform it live. It's one of the best ones in the whole library,
Oh yeah.
but it's nothing that can't be cured with some concentrated rehearsal.
Yeah, of course.
But that one needs to get performed live because that song, Cerebellar Atrophy, I would recommend people take another look at that song. It's in all aspects, it's really good. Lyrically, the song pertains to wasting time, living frivolously, putting things off until tomorrow, and next thing you know, your best years have passed. Story like that. And we don't always offer a solution for these thoughts, but we at least profess them and create awareness of
Yeah.
them. That's a great track, and musically it's sick. And if you listen in the very last little solo bit in the end, I stole that from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So he stole Christmas, and I stole his little musical riff.
There you go. Hey man,
Uh,
the Grinch, he deserves it, man. He deserves it.
yeah, yeah, that guy's a dickhead.
They did like a second book.
Oh yeah,
It's called How the Grinch was it, I think like Lost Christmas or something.
dude, he stole it and then he lost it.
Yeah, he stole it, gives it back at the end of the book, and then loses it.
Dude, that guy's a chum bucket.
I know. Let let me double check this because I feel like I might get it wrong. Yeah, How the
Yeah,
Grinch Lost Christmas, written and released in 2023.
huh? Yeah, I'm sure it's a stunning piece of literature.
It it's definitely a piece of literature at the very least.
That it is.
Written by Alistair something. Not even written by Dr. Seuss.
Written by who?
By Alistair something.
I'm good. Let's take the original.
Oh yeah.
OG or nothing, man. Dr. Seuss.
Alistair
Should be wearing
Hyde.
my Dr. Seuss hat for you tonight, but you know, it's in the laundry.
Dude, I know how that is. I've got a hat in the laundry that I wear all the time.
Yeah, man. Too many bands take their image and their presentation too seriously, I
Yeah.
think. There's nothing wrong at all with being serious about your identity and wanting to be polished and have it sick. And if you don't want to go as if you don't want to take as deep of an autistic dive as we have into the comedy sphere of things, that's cool.
Yeah.
Many bands get it done with just stick polished content, and that certainly can be done. We just have a lot of fun reminding people that you don't have to be quite so serious all the time.
Oh yeah.
We're like the guys who do the salmon run, the Boston Marathon. You ever heard about them?
I have, yeah.
This group of people will put giant salmon costumes on
Yep.
and go to where the Boston Marathon's going on, and they'll run the opposite direction upstream into the flow of traffic in these salmon costumes, do salmon run. And that's the perfect metaphor for kind of my operation method here. It's just life's more fun that way.
Oh yeah.
Dude. We're all the same of mortal. And believe me, I've seen many times how susceptible the human body is to injury.
Oh
And
yeah.
it really doesn't take much to screw up a person or permanently alter their life. So, with that awareness that life's so short, we just make the most of it, hopefully.
That's right, man.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, we've talked about your music. Now we have to ask about the music you listen to. And I can think of no better way than to ask about your guilty pleasures. Now, you don't have to be embarrassed by them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's songs that you're embarrassed to listen to, but more like songs that people wouldn't expect you to listen to, or artists, bands, something that's like, oh yeah, I would never have thought that he would listen to that.
Sure, man. Yeah, I mean, there's no wrong answers here either. I mean, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. If anything, I'll sit here and ponder what's the most embarrassing thing, what's the funniest thing I could tell people. I've never been very good at the put on the spot, spontaneous name three songs type thing. So I'm looking through some of the weirder YouTube playlists here of stuff I genuinely love. Lots of old video game soundtracks,
Yes.
the old Nintendo NES soundtracks for like the second Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. And there was an old PC game called War Games. Love the soundtrack to that. The Skyrim soundtrack from back in 2011.
Dude, my
Still
favorite of
amazing.
those. Yeah, my favorite.
Stranger stuff. What's up?
I was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
that is one of my favorites. I mean, that and Elder Scrolls Online, easily top two of my favorite like video game soundtracks.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But the video game soundtracks, I swear, you could go on and on about those, man, because they're so good and they're always so varied. I think the last like video game soundtrack I fully listened to was the Elden Ring soundtrack
Yeah,
because I'm a
yeah,
big
very good stuff. And it's symphonic too.
yeah,
And just that's just a whole new dimension of awesome, I think.
right.
Um, orchestral, like very talking over myself, orchestrated, um, just dynamic sound compositions like that are just it's impressive, you know. And
Oh yeah.
as much as I can, I try and emulate that with our sound, make it as big and as beastly as we can.
Oh for sure.
Back when the N64 was raging, there were plenty of Star Wars games coming out, many of which John Williams was doing the soundtrack for. I can recall vividly the soundtrack for Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
Yes.
That one, that was one of the best video game soundtracks ever, man. Super sick. People, I'd be surprised if people knew this about us that we listen to a ton of atmospheric stuff too. I'd say me and Trey the most, and probably me the most because I've always got some kind of ambient sound playing at almost all times, whether I'm studying or working, what have you. Artists like Steve Roach is, where's I going with that? Oh, Steve Roach from Arizona produces some very crazy stuff. Robert Rich from California corresponded with him a few times, and the YouTube channel Cryo Chamber has tons of underground artists. Discovered crazy ones like Atrium Carcery through that channel. Um, Point being, it's a way to fill the void of silence without having actual music, and you can in a way create audible like, paintings, tapestries almost with this type of sound. And I very much recommend it if you're ever sleeping, studying, doing something that's maybe low energy, high concentration. Steve Roach, really cool music. He just did a mashup with the band Blood Incantation, which was the first time I'd seen ambient artists um, do a mashup with like an extreme metal band. That was really cool. Anyway, lots of that. And so you hear some of those ambient aspects in the music. You'll hear more of it in the future
Oh yeah.
because there are certain things we want to attempt to describe that can't be described with guitar riffs. And it has to be painted in a particular way to get the message across the way we want to say it.
Yeah. I've got an artist to share with you.
Um,
You were talking about
yeah,
Nintendo-esque music and more ambient stuff. I found this artist on TikTok called Alyzea Alesia Alesia.
yeah.
And it's got that similar atmosphere. I think you'd enjoy that
Okay. I'll write that down.
because it's very like it definitely has that like almost I'd liken it to one of the Mario like swimming uh
The underwater music.
where you're
I
yeah,
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's goofy.
but
Yeah, and Go ahead. What's
I
up?
was gonna say it's just one of those chill, funny type of enjoyable music.
It's always interesting when just music can make you crack up or laugh. And once in a while, we'll try and go for that in the songs. I couldn't tell you where an example of that would be, but I know we've done it. We're not complete weirdos. I mean, I do have actual music taste. Lately, I've been way back on a grunge kick again. It's come around again. I fucking love Alice in Chains. Man, top five. Lane Staley, greatest grunge singer ever.
Yes.
Love, love, love that band. The Dirt album is sick. Grind album, super sick. Um,
Were you ever
uh,
Stone Temple Pilots?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man. Scott Weiland.
Yeah. Do you like their newer stuff? Have you heard any of it?
I, I haven't.
They went some direction.
No, no, man. Admittedly, they go a weird direction.
Yeah, one album was like a purely acoustic sounding album.
Hey, that's cool. It's a bold move,
Oh yeah.
radically changing your sound, but sometimes that can work out in your favor.
Not gonna lie though, one of my favorite records by them.
What's it called?
I think it's just called Stone Temple Pilots. I think it's a self-titled. It's got a
Right
butterfly
on.
on the front of it. Uh, like
Oh
it,
yeah,
butterfly.
yeah.
Unless it was called The
Cool,
Art
man.
of Letting Go, because I know that's a song on it.
Yeah.
It may have been called that.
Well, there's influences from all over.
Oh yeah.
Trey listens to tons of Gojira
Of
and
course.
super rhythmic bands like Car Bomb.
Yep.
Trey loves bands like that. Colby's into tons and tons of extreme metal. I'm not even going to attempt to begin to list some of the bands Colby likes because he's going to call me out for mislisting something or forgetting or you want to talk to a walking metal encyclopedia, go talk to Mr. Colby Rogers, vocalist of Asylum. He could tell you about this random obscure 1986 Long Island, New York post grunge chorus bass player's grandmother's weight on the moon, like that insane level of stuff.
That's what's up.
So
That
we got
did.
interests all over the map.
Oh yeah.
World sound. Um,
Yeah.
Jorge Reyes is another great artist. Sounds that very obviously came from the region in which they were written, you
Yeah.
know, and it's cool to emulate that in our sound sometimes.
Of course.
And with the new album, and we haven't put the name of the new album out in text anywhere online, and we most likely will not until we get some other stuff figured out. But we have a new album coming out called Cultus Inoxia, and the premise of it is about a plant, actually. And people may ask themselves, how the hell are you going to make an album story, a concept about a plant that's not pot? How are you going to make that interesting and sellable and extreme and brutal? I will tell you that plant is very extreme and very beautiful. It's a nightshade. Um, Datura is the name of the plant. Moonflower, the colloquial name. A beautiful night blooming, bright white, fat flower that only comes out in the evening time, in the nighttime. Big bushy plant. I'm kind of a plant nerd too. I love gardening
Oh,
stuff. It's cool growing your own food and
oh,
seeing stuff
yeah.
grow from seed. Anyway, the Datura is super interesting, incredibly poisonous. Disclaimer, in no way am I ever going to advocate any recreational yada yada yada. Some people are dumb enough to try and eat it to trip balls. Um, Terrible idea, because you go read online, they're all terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Um, I've never done it, so I'm a poser, and I'll freely admit my poser status right now. But I have grown it for almost 10 years in a row now. So I have spent quite a lot of time around the plant. And as strange as it may sound to some, it's become a huge source of artistic inspiration for me. So much so that the album cover is a painting we had commissioned of a very sinister datura scene.
That's what's up.
And you look at it and you immediately get these kind of Hispanic Latin American vibes. Like there's a dim, sort of dimly lit Aztec god on the front, and you might look at it and have no idea what the hell to make of it. And that's okay. Just press play, and we'll do the rest.
That's what's up.
And with the new album, we're seeing the most updated version of our ability to mesh these concepts, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The medical stuff um, mixes with our dystopian 1984 stuff, like we were doing on the first album and some of the Sharpen album. Um, Opinions we hold, things we think and feel. Just want to express them all in a compact 45-ish minute format.
That's what's
And that's a real challenge. That's
oh,
a hell of a puzzle, brother. But
only 45.
thankfully we're all puzzle pieces.
Oh yeah. Well, I definitely want to talk about more gardening for a second because
Yeah,
we're
man.
growing saffron right now and
Oh, that's
some
cool.
other stuff. Uh
Nice.
my wife and my aunt work together on our garden out in the back, and then we got some chickens, which
Nice.
most of them are nice. Some of them really, really suck. They're mean.
Oh yeah, I mean, chickens can be dickheads, man.
Dude.
Definitely. But they're useful.
Oh yeah.
Free eggs. Free eggs,
Yeah.
besides all the labor to take care of them
The labor and the food cost and everything, which
and
isn't
keeping them from
too
getting
bad.
killed.
Oh yeah. It's that initial cost that's the real kicker there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. I'll just send you the artwork.
yeah,
If
please.
you're at all a plant nerd like me, you'll really enjoy the experience of hearing the new album for the first time.
Oh, I will.
We've managed to integrate I'm now repeating myself, but the very unrelated lyrical topics I've listed off so far: emergency medicine, um, the psychedelia aspect from the last album, except this time it's a much more sinister type vibe. If
Yeah.
you listen to every song in the discography, you're probably aware that on the Purple album, Sharpen, the last one, it's extreme, it's fast, it's brutal at many times, but it's
Yeah.
very, very polished, almost shiny,
Yeah.
and almost audibly colorful in many ways, which is cool. But somewhere, a person I cannot remember pointed out that they just wished it was scarier. If we're gonna call it a death metal album, like like, man, I just wish it were like a little more terrifying. And I think that one seeped into the subconscious a little more than I meant for it to.
Yeah.
And so we took that and ran with it. And this one is several orders of magnitude more horrifying than the last album.
That's what's up.
So I think people will really enjoy it. It's a real kick in the Johnson.
And that's what we like with our extreme music.
Of course, man. If you're not here for that, you get out. Why
And
are you here?
and you know what they say, you better wear a cup.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you're gonna get 10,000 snare hits to the nuts in an afternoon, you better come ready.
Oh yeah. I'm very aware of wearing a cup. I used to play baseball, and that was never fun when you got hit. Well, I mean, even with the cup, it was never fun to get hit several times.
Not at all. Yeah,
And some
protect
people can't
family
pitch.
jewels.
Yeah, some people definitely can't pitch either. So they'd be hitting you in the foot, hitting you in the knee. You'd be like,
Yeah,
my box is up. You're down like touching my toes.
yeah, yeah, man. Um, Nothing against anybody who's a sports person. Like tons of my friends love all kinds of sports. It just does not click with me. Like I'm missing the part of the forebrain that allows for pleasure to be derived from watching fucking sports. So, sure, high school football team or like your school, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Your college, alma mater shit, totally, man. Just people who religiously follow professional sports and have a head full of of useless statistics. It's like
yeah,
that the energy required to like could just be applied to so many more useful things.
exactly.
No,
I can
it
never
ain't for me.
professional sports. I'm like, I don't get how people are like constantly doing the fantasy football draft over and over. They're tweaking it every single day, and they're watching all
Fucking
the games.
stupid.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah. So yeah, we say go sports a lot
Oh yeah,
in our neck of the woods. And
that's
again,
the term.
dude, and I mean, shit, dude, don't get me wrong. I love a good hockey fight.
Oh yeah,
They had the Stars game on last night at work, and they're beating the shit out of each other on TV. That's awesome. Rugby, they
oh
beat the fuck out of
rugby.
each other in rugby. Um, but just, I quite literally would rather watch grass grow than sit there and watch a golf tournament.
Grass growing is definitely interesting, and
Yeah,
more interesting than golf too.
yeah. Hell, I'd rather sit there and talk about growing turnips.
Yeah.
I actually might enjoy that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, now we got to move on to my favorite part, and I think this tends to be the musician's favorite part too. Call it gear talk, great talk. Now, this idea is to go into as much or as little detail as you want to about the gear you use, about software, hardware, whatever you use for when you're playing, we're recording, whatever,
Hmm.
as long as it's about gear. Because not only
Okay.
do people love hearing about it, I also like hearing about it so I can go out and buy more things.
Sure. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, go for it. So good. What are you doing, Nugget? Why are you staring at the wall like that? You're scaring me. My cat was looking up at the wall very menacingly.
I'm about to do the same thing. For those who can't see, I'm looking behind me, looking up at the wall at this beautiful USA made Jackson KE2 Kelly in a black gloss finish
I'm not
that
gonna
I've
lie, I've been looking at it the whole time.
that I've put these very flashy, excuse me, pink knobs and tuner knobs
That's what's
on there. And these are sick. Yeah, these bright colored knobs are made by Eccentric Guitars. I got them via eBay. I don't know where they have an official website, but they're sick. This is without a doubt the coolest guitar I've ever played, the most ergonomic, and it's durable, man. I babied it in Europe on our recent tour, but the case got the absolute shit beat out of it. And this thing got abused every single night and withstood 12 shows with zero string changes. I can admit that now that I managed to do the whole thing without breaking a string, but
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, no string changes. And I was devastating every single night. And this thing holds tune for the most part. I had a few tuning issues here and there on the tour, but
Of course.
that's comes to the territory.
Yeah.
But man, overall, the original Floyd Rose on this can absolutely take a beating. Holds tune really well. The Seymour Duncan pickups in it sound amazing. They scream. The abalone trim is beautiful. Um, I love the shark tooth inlays. Just
Yeah.
the shape of this guitar, man. I guess my another 30-second story for you. High school, I saw somebody bring a Jackson Kelly in the red crimson iridescent swirl to high school one day. I don't know if they still make those, but seeing this guitar body shape for the first time ever, I can recall seeing it for the first time, be like, that's the sickest guitar I've ever seen. I have to have that. It's like seeing a girl and like you instantly fall in love with her. And at least 10 years, hell, 15 years, if not more, passed after that day when I first saw the Kelly to the day I finally owned one and got it within time to take it on our tour in Europe. And so this thing is shredded many countries at this point. And if you don't mind a pointy guitar with a personality, like this is by far my favorite instrument. Um, Kind of a love hate type guitar.
Yeah.
People are either looking for this or they're not, you
Yeah.
know. So that's my primary talk. This is kind of one of the reasons I wish Trey was able to be here tonight because he could go over his Strandberg rig with you. I believe he's playing Strandberg Bowden.
Okay.
It's an 8 string.
Dude, the Strandbergs are expensive, but they are nice.
Yeah, it's a super nice guitar, and the shape of the body, I gotta hand it to him. It's so comfortable sitting on your lap. The Trey's guitar is always a heated topic of discussion for us because the whole headstock meme.
Yep.
And whether you have an opinion on the subject or not, it makes for plenty of funny content. A
Oh,
lot of which I'm about to roll out a whole new series of us just dogging on Trey for missing a headstock.
I love it.
But
Buy them one of those
it,
attachable headstocks.
yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way to make that into like a funny video or something. In the
That'll
guitar world, that's a rather polarizing subject, the headstock thing. I personally very much prefer having one. I feel as if it balances out the look of the instrument,
That's fair.
and without it, it seems like something's missing. I don't know, aesthetic differences.
Oh yeah.
It's just like my opinion, man. So Trey plays that guitar, and as far as amps go, we're both running the Fractal Axe Effects 2
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
We're still kind of building the live rig. It's fairly bare bones. Carlos is running a bass amp. What he's using is escaping me at the moment, but our rack's simple, man. We have those Axe Effects, bass amp, or if we want to be fancy. We have our Sennheiser wireless units
Yeah.
that we ran as much as we could in Europe. There were some frequency issues and some hardware problems that we just didn't have time to fix on the fly during sound check. So
Yeah.
there were plenty of nights where one or both of us would just run with cables. But as much as we can, those things are super nice.
Oh yeah.
And if and they work and they're really reliable. We were just in at the time such an overwhelmingly new environment with so many different quick decisions and considerations during setup that oftentimes we just have to decide right then and there.
Yeah.
We gotta play wired, sacrifice this tonight. It's all right. So we have those wireless units. What else? The in-ear monitors is the other big one.
Yeah.
So we are take a sip of my holy water here. All right. We're we're running in-ear monitors through ours,
Yeah.
which by the way, it's as simple as earbuds um, connected via a cord that kind of runs down your back, and
Yeah.
we attach them to the guitar straps and the bass strap. So we run the in-ears that is just a metronome, and sometimes we'll put kick in there. We can adjust it however we want. The the in-ear monitor system's pretty cool. We've got it rigged to where from a tablet that we pass around, we can make our own adjustments to the mix in the ears.
That's what's up.
St- Still working on getting to the point where everybody has their own mix in their own ears.
Yeah.
But before the show starts, say we can hand the tablet to Dante and we can play and he can make adjustments as needed so he can hear it over the drums. And that really allows for fine tuning the sound and playing the show super clean, man, because that eliminate having the sound in your ears, that eliminates the need for count offs and the hi-hat to start a song. So you can just bust right in and it's really slick and clean. And it just makes the whole performance better for everybody,
Oh yeah. Dude,
And
I
unless I'm missing anything, oh, I am missing something, dude. Here's my little travel
that's what's
guitar amp. This is a little
the blacks.
Black Star Fly 5 watt mini amp. And this thing shreds, dude. Puts
Oh,
out a lot of sound and actually has a really killer tone. And this little amp I'm holding is less than 6 inches wide, and it's like maybe 4 inches deep. So you can throw it in a backpack,
oh
and
yeah.
it sounds really, really good. And they're not even paying me to say this. So
But they can.
that thing goes with me everywhere.
They could definitely pay you if they want to.
What's that?
You know, we
That'd be nice.
we always accept sponsorships here.
Black Star amplification. If you can hear me, call me, dude. All right. I
Figure it
love
out.
you.
Get to the man.
Yeah, dude. We are sponsored by Clayton Guitar Picks.
That is cool.
And so yeah, if you're endorsement friendly on your podcast,
Oh, I am.
there's one I want to shout out. So
I like that.
Clayton Custom Picks makes a variety of killer guitar picks, but I'm saying this from the heart. I don't have a prepared statement. This is totally off the cuff because truly, this is the only kind of pick I've been using for at least 12 years or more. These are triangular acetal 1 millimeter. These are bass picks actually, but I have bigger hands
Yeah.
and there's just more surface area to grip. on this, and it's triangular, so I don't have to worry about orienting the object in the correct position to get the most striking point
Yeah.
against the strings. I can have it at any angle, and I know that it's going to be the same. So that's really cool. But truly, this is the only kind of pick I've used for well over a decade. I won't play a show without them. These picks are sick, and yeah,
That's awesome.
that's it.
I dig
We
it.
have these little Asylum Reaper picks available on our website, on our AsylumTX.bigcartel.
Check it out, guys.
Gotta
That's a those are sick
gotta
picks.
have something to throw. Thank you, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they turned out really good.
Something
And
you
these are
can
indestructible, dude. I
for
think
people.
I can recall maybe one or two of them breaking. I talked over you again. What'd you say?
No, you're good. I said always good to have something that you can throw that won't hurt people in the crowd.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's something really special too, right? Because for years we were just buying the packs of Clayton picks, and they have their Eagle branding on them. But for this year, for the first time, we decided to go for it, and we've been talking to them a fair amount, and we have some creative stuff we're going to do with them, shouting them out, and we're going to bring you more sick guitar pick designs. So yeah, be on the lookout.
Dude, I can't wait.
Always more down the pipeline.
Oh yeah. Well, we're down to our last set of questions. First off, we gotta ask, new music, new shows. Let us know any new events, festivals, anything you got coming down the pipeline for the band. This is your chance to go. Here it is.
Sure. So if you'd asked me a month ago, I'd say our biggest focus was wrapping up the new album,
Of course.
the Moonflower album, the Datura album I was telling you about. That is done. It's mixed, mastered, done. It's ready to rock. And right now, we are, to put it vaguely, we're working on the best possible way to present it to everybody in a way that's going to maximize the amount of people we can present it to. So we're working on some back end stuff at the moment. Believe me when I say, as soon as I possibly can, I'm going to let everybody know a concrete date when the thing's going to come out, because I'm just as ready as everybody else.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's a thing you kind of got to almost get out of your system at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's like needing to puke for 3 hours, then
Yep.
finally you feel so much better.
Dude.
The sound
No way.
the sound of the new album is slightly better than puke. Just making colorful metaphors here. Immediate news: we are playing I don't know when this is going to come out, but we're playing a free show on June 7th in Denton, Texas at Rubber Gloves Rehearsal Studio. It's a
You'll never
canned
guess
food
this.
drive. What's that?
I said you'll never guess when this is coming out.
Is that the day it's coming out? Is it
Yes.
coming out June 7th? Dude, nice. I'm clairvoyant. Well,
Not to date this, but I kind of just
well, oops.
oh well.
Hey, everybody, enjoy your June 7th. I hope it's a lovely Saturday. Asylum, if you're listening at this point, you must be at least vaguely interested enough to know that we will be playing a free show tonight in Denton, Texas, at a canned food drive. So bring some cans of food, and they'll let you in with no cash involved, and you can help somebody in need. It goes toward a good cause, and you come out and listen to some sick tunes and shove some people around in a circle and observe the various types of camouflage cargo shorts in the room.
Yep. You know
Come
all.
on out, let's do It'll be a good time.
Oh yeah.
Um, so that's that. For later this year, we are working on putting together a run in the United States. I don't have enough details to share anything more substantial than that. And for early next year, again, I got little I can share, but we're working on going out of the country again
That's what's up.
because we the goal, of course, is to create perpetual motion here. You
Yeah.
know, we don't at no point. What am I trying to say? We want to always be saying, "Here's the next big badass thing we're doing,"
Yeah.
and that's precisely why on this day in particular, I'm a little frustrated because there's so much more I could tell you and I want to tell you, but man, we're almost there.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, the local band thing, big things coming, bro. Just you wait.
Yep.
It's the 12th time this week I've posted big things coming. But in Asylum's case, we have a proven track record of big things coming being
Oh yeah.
actually true, and that will continue to be the case because we're all crazy enough to dedicate our whole lives to it
Yeah.
and say crazy shit like I'm doing as many albums as I can while I'm still alive, and everybody in the band is on that same page, and that's really cool, man. So we're gonna take this thing to unexpected heights, I think, and really make something cool out of it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, dude.
Well, we've got three more questions left, or two
Okay.
questions and a segment. Our little segment here is called the Dream Festival. Now I'm gonna walk you through it. We're gonna go through the steps, but it's gonna be your dream festival.
Okay.
There's only two rules, and one rule is Asylum is playing, and then the second rule is you can have anybody, living or dead, but if they are dead, you got to explain how they came back to life.
Okay.
So we'll start with the easy questions. Where is it gonna be?
This dream festival that we're designing, right?
Yeah,
Where's that going to be?
yeah,
Um, Leipzig, Germany.
I like it. Very unique.
Um, yeah, it would be, I don't want to get this wrong. St. Thomas Church
I
in
like.
Leipzig, Germany, inside a several hundred-year-old church, big cathedral. It's where Johann Sebastian Bach is buried under the congregation there.
That's sick.
And it would be so insane to have an extreme metal festival inside that church, I think.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's your location.
I like the location. Now the next
Mhm.
place is the accommodations. Where are we staying? We staying at a hotel? We bumming it out on the streets with the local German hobos? Are we camping out in the woods? What are we doing?
Um, Figured I might find a good rooftop to fall asleep on. Maybe pass out in a sewer pipe. Depends how the night goes.
Oh yeah. Hey, maybe you'll end up in the cathedral bell tower.
If we get a room full of rejection, hey, maybe so. We get a room full of rejection, there's always a life of hunchback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Old Quasimodo.
Never too late for a career change, right?
Yeah. From extreme death metal band and working as a firefighter industry professional to being a bell ringer with a hunchback.
Hey, man, I've done weirder.
I feel that. Now we also have to ask, and I think this will be your favorite part. What's the catering gonna be like?
Catering. Ooh. dude, I hate that I see so many commercials, but the TV's always on at work. And so against my will, I'm now aware of the fact that Domino's is making stuffed crust pizza, which is fucking awesome. So we're gonna get some of that.
Of course.
I'm gonna need about 26,000 pounds of Whataburger.
Okay. Okay.
And for those who like beer, get with, I'm not a huge beer guy myself, but get with them and take whatever they want.
What's up?
Deluxe whiskeys, some top shelf scotch, maybe some nice tequila,
Okay.
um, and something Bavarian, of course, something
Yeah.
from Deutschland, something local to wherever we're at, and which is of course more than likely going to be a beer, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm all for it if I'm at the place.
Yeah.
Uh, so what am I saying? We're in Germany. I'm sitting here talking about fat American food. All right, we're gonna cater all Mediterranean and Cajun and Turkish, Moroccan, North African, all that good shit. That's the catering and open bar.
I love it. Open bar is going to get crazy.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah. Oh, and nail the doors and windows shut.
Of course. Of course.
Obviously,
We gotta put up some boards so they don't throw a chair through it.
yes. Somebody recommended that a person shoot himself with smaller bullets to build up an immunity to larger bullets.
Okay. Wonder
It's
how
like,
that works.
damn, yeah, Uncle Jimmy, I haven't seen you since last Thanksgiving. Can I get a hello, at least? All right, reorient me, dude. Point me back in a
I got
direction. I'll
you.
go. I'll go running off.
So now we have to figure out what time you guys are playing. So we'll say the festival runs all day, all night. You pick generally. Give me like a general time or like a general slot. You gonna headline? You gonna be somewhere in the middle? You gonna be before the headliner? Something like that.
Am I going to headline? Ideally, not. I guess it depends what time Megadeth is playing, is
Was
when we would play.
so
No, I mean,
saying like right before Megadeth.
I mean that would be ideal, right?
Yep,
If I'm building the festival, I want
prime
the
time
sickest
slot.
bands possible that are gonna bring the most draw while also putting my own band in the sickest spot. So how about a nice, comfy 10 p.m. slot? That sounds good.
I like it.
Sounds nice and cozy. I'll put my slippers on, slip into that nice, comfortable, sometimes cool, air conditioned left side of the stage
Yep.
and stand there like an autistic freak.
Hey, why don't you put on the like classic old pajama pants with the night shirt and the nightcap? That'll
Hmm.
really sell it.
Hold my candle.
Yeah, exactly. The old candlestick.
Yeah.
Look around like Scrooge.
If you dress like that to go to bed, you're 10,000% more likely to see ghosts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Proven.
Especially Christmas ghosts.
Oh, no doubt, man.
And then of course we gotta ask, what are the headliners and what are some other bands that'll be playing that are not the headliners?
Um, Megadeth would be cool. Let's get Joy Division,
Great one.
some Depeche Mode. I want No Doubt to have a reunion.
What's up?
Mm, see. The original Vital Remains of Dave Suzuki. It'd be cool if he could make an appearance.
Yeah. Well, it's the
And
Dream Festival, so he is. He is making an appearance.
oh yeah, dude. We'll have George Michael do a saxophone
That's what
performance with Weird Al, or excuse me, with who's that other frizzy haired freak that
Kenny G.
plays the fucking oboe? Kenny G. Love that guy.
Dude, I
Couldn't
love me
remember his
Kenny.
freaking name. Put Kenny G on the bill, dude. That's happening.
A mosh into Kenny
And
G.
oh hell yeah. And then maybe Spawn of Possession, I'd say.
Okay.
Uh, and since we already said Car Bomb from New York, I'm thinking Ulcerate
Okay.
from, are they from New Zealand? Tasmania. Yeah, Ulcerate. It's Trey, the other Asylum guitar player, besides me. Uh, yeah, he's obsessed with that band right now.
I dig it.
Yeah, dude. So there you go.
This sounds like a sick lineup with
Oh, and then the best part is the actual headliner will be Bach himself, and we're gonna, since his gravesite is conveniently right there in the middle of the room, we're gonna ask everybody to prepare for a wall of death, and we'll do our seance, and that's gonna explain how Bach's spirit's gonna rise from the grave and ascend to play harpsichord concerto number one, and we're going to see history's first wall of death to harpsichord concerto in a church. And that is my fever dream. There you go.
dude, that is like the best one I've heard so far. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Great way to end a festival too.
We only deliver the best.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. With a seance of a classical music composer, I have to throw on my powdered wig for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess extra credit if you can get, oh man, I feel terrible. Their name's escaping me. Guadalajara, Mexico. There's a mariachi group, a particular one that I really like. That if we could get them on the bill, make whatever calls you have to. These guys are sick, and they should go on right before Spawn of Possession.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, this is quite the festival. We got Kenny G, we got a mariachi band, Bottom Possession,
Oh,
Megadeth, and Sebastian Bach, and you guys.
and Vital Remains and Yellow Man, the reggae artist from Jamaica.
I love it.
Yeah. Now that's a nice rounded out
Oh yeah.
um, orgy of nonsense.
This
Let's
could
do
be
it.
even bigger than Coachella,
Yeah, I think so too.
especially with the whole resurrection thing. I think that's a big drawing point.
Yeah, with the whole no flash photography rules posted inside,
Yeah, exactly.
people will be left with no choice but to draw the scene like a courtroom sketch.
Yep. Well, we've got
Well,
two more
that,
questions for you. And well, call them questions. It's plugs and shout outs. You have anybody, anything you want to plug, any shout outs you want to give, and of course, where can they find the band? Where can they find you? All the nice jizzle jazzle. Did not like the
well, always got to shout out our manager, Paul McGuire, and his film company, Obscenery Films, and his production company, Dead Haggis. They took us over to Europe for the first time, and we're still working on them, making bigger and bigger plans for the immediate future. and 2, 5, and 10 years down the road, and developing long-term stuff here. We have album discography plans. Like, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. The extent to which we're already planning this far out into the realm of time. But for me, everything works better if I got a plan.
Oh
I
yeah.
prefer not to shoot from the hip. And if your primary plan fails, you better have a backup.
Yep.
So that's just the way we do business. So lots in the works. Shout out to Paul. Thanks for taking us to Europe, and Defeated Sanity, of course, for having us on that bill. That was super sick getting to tour with Defeated Sanity, to Violently Vomit. Love those guys. Extremely brutal. Um, Embryonic Devourment. Whole tour package was awesome. Putrid Pile, old Sean, Putrid Pile.
Yeah.
Hilarious, insane. Everybody on the bus was a pleasure to travel with, and it's really cool being surrounded by musicians who are pretty much all better than you and who are all as big of music nerds as you, and you can have crazy conversations that go really in depth about people you've idolized for years and learn all kinds of cool shit from people who actually live on the continent that he's from.
Yeah.
Talking about various classical music composers.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Jacob from Defeated Sanity. He's like a walking. He's an encyclopedia of knowledge on hell, anything I could look out the bus window and see and ask about. He could tell you. Pretty cool. So everybody on that tour package was awesome, man. Shout out to Russell Holler, who mixed and mastered and recorded the vocals and drums for our new album that I've described that's coming out. Thank you, Russell. This is the second time we've worked with Russell on an album. He did Sharpen, the one prior to the one coming out soon. And that one turned out sick. This one's even more sick. And we're thankful for his wizardry, as we like to say. And I'm bad at naming off names, man, because I start to rattle them off and I forget somebody and I feel like a jerk later on, you know?
Oh yeah.
Most recent memory, dude, I'm thankful for that chance to go play so many awesome shows in Europe. Of course, shout out to everybody who supports the band and listens to Asylum and enjoys what we're doing. Sounds cliche, but it isn't possible without you guys being silly with us and banging your heads. So thank you. That is awesome. And it allows us to do what we do. So thank you to our inmates, as we call our fan base.
Love it.
You will be committed always. And we're trying to figure out a way to make straight jackets, like integrate them into the merch somehow, by the way.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for the support. And we will continue to deliver. I can
Hell yeah.
guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, I know you will.
And with more time with you and more brain cells tonight, I could ramble quite a bit more. So I always got more if you want to do this again, dude.
Oh yeah. You can do it as many times as you want, man. I enjoy talking with you. Of
Right on. Likewise. Yeah, you've been very cool. I appreciate this. Thank you.
course. Well, we have our last question, and this question that ends it out. What
Yep.
song would you like to have from your discography as the closing song to the episode?
Hmm. Um, Knockout School. Knockout School.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the new singles we recently released. And that name refers to the moonflower plant, Datura inoxia. It's one of the original cultural names from Central America where the plant hails from. And we wanted to give a face and a personality to this name. I mean, the plant itself has like 6 or 7 different alternative names. That one, reading down a list, that one's like, that's sick. That could be a song title. I like
Okay.
that. But it needed a personality.
Yeah.
And so in my hunt, I found a sucker for images of grim reapers and death. Just I don't know, death. It's a very real thing that I encounter once in a while.
Yeah.
We all do. So that iconography resonates with me. And so we needed the perfect image to describe that song, Naga School. And uh, I don't know how to describe it, man. Super sick Grim Reaper up close face that's on the shirt design and the single artwork that's on our Bandcamp,
Yeah.
which is another part of your question, by the way. All of the Asylum stuff online can be found with AsylumTX, like Texas. If you go to Google and type that, it'll bring you to all our stuff. Otherwise, on Instagram, it's AsylumTX. On TikTok, I think there's a period in there. It's like asylum.tx or something. Hell, I don't know. Our TikTok's a burning trash pile anyway. Don't look at it. Stay away.
So definitely
um,
go check it out then, right?
yeah, man. If you want to see and hear something interesting, definitely. Bandcamp for a long time was where that was one of our bigger online sources for listening to the tunes themselves. AsylumTX.bandcamp. That being said, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, Apple Music,
Yep.
everything.
Of course.
In fact, if you find one we're not on, let me know.
That's what's up.
I want to get it on there so we can
What's that?
spread the nut balls.
Yeah. What's that one that's Idle? Yeah. That's one of the newer ones. They pay slightly more than
Which one?
music. Title.
Oh, title? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I heard that too.
They pay 1 cent as opposed to like half a cent.
Sweet.
Hey, you
So
know
I
what?
save up
It counts.
yeah, man. Save up a few 100,000 pennies, I can buy a gallon of gas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, especially with the way gas prices are now.
Damn gas prices.
Them damn gas prices.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like, oh,
Got to
what?
throw in one of those.
Yep. Got
We're
to
from Texas. The boys would be disappointed if I didn't throw in at least one or two. Hell yeah, brother.
throw. Yeah.
Into the podcast.
Yep.
At any given point between songs at a local or even medium-sized show in Texas, heavy metal show, at any given point between songs, you'll hear 3 or 4 hell yeah from around the room.
I
Hell yeah, brother.
love it.
Yeah, man. Put some brother in there, you know.
Oh yeah. Dude, you gotta love it.
I do. That's why I do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
I
much
don't.
for coming on, man. I appreciate you coming on, having fun, chatting with me. I had a great time as always.
Likewise, man. This was a blast. It was great to get to finally talk to you,
Yeah.
and I'd love to do it again with more of us than just me.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
definitely
sure
do it again.
people want to hear more than just what my dumbass has to say. The other guy's immensely talented, and I'm grateful to get to work with them.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're all super funny, and surprisingly enough, we can be smart guys once in a while. They know some stuff, and Colby can recite Shakespeare like unbelievably. Ask him about that sometime.
I will.
Verbatim, dude, word for word. He can quote Shakespeare, long passages. It's pretty cool. That's his superpower.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being able to say Shakespeare verbatim.
yeah,
That's a
that's
power to have.
like that's one of the 4 or 5 things Colby's good at. And the others he doesn't allow me to talk about in public. You got it.
This has been the Mullins Over Music Podcast, episode 25. Host, producer, editor, me, Austin. Special thanks to Mr. Johan coming on the podcast. The outro song is Nakaz Cool by Asylum Texas. Check them out on all their social media platforms. Their new single, Blasphemer, is on all streaming platforms. And be on the lookout for their new records. Thanks, Johan, for coming on, being a cool dude. Special thanks to viewers like you. Thank you. And thanks again for coming on. Bye-bye.